Welcome, everyone, to the second episode of the Es Una Final podcast. I have Charlie here with me. We are here to talk about not just the Euro final that just ended. We're recording I think an hour after the final just ended, and we'll probably talk a little bit about the Copa America also being done. So we are officially done with international football for this summer, and that's why we will be talking about the aftermath of what's going to be happening with Real Madrid, probably a little bit about La Liga as well, what's going to be happening with a few other clubs. So looking forward to a fun discussion with Charlie. Charlie, how are you doing?
I'm very good. I'm happy to see that international football is done for the summer. I mean, it's been back-to-back games for about a month now, and I can say as much as I love this game, I love it more than anything, there has been a bit of fatigue I've been feeling. So I am pretty happy to get a break and let these players get a break more than anything, because especially after all these overtimes and extra times we've seen, they could definitely use it.
Yeah, and also I would say kudos to the England team, to the Italian team, because these teams, all of the teams basically, because definitely they have been going through such mental and physical fatigue, but they still tried to stay on top of their game until the last minute of extra time, and even in the final, and then the penalties. It's mentally and physically it must be exhausting. I'm pretty sure. Just to talk a little bit about the two finals that we had in the last yesterday and today. Well, I'm happy. I'm an Argentinian fan, so it's like I have not seen them win anything since I have known the concept of supporting a team or the concept of football. I have never seen Argentina winning anything before last night. Well, they have won Olympic gold medals here and there and youth tournaments, but those I'm talking about senior team accolades, and it was a nice feeling to see them finally win it. And I think Argentina somehow took Brazil by surprise, because Brazil did not, I think, anticipate such a physical game from Argentina to begin with, and bringing on Christian Romero in the starting lineup was I think a very, very fine decision from Lionel Scaloni. Also having Angel Di Maria, he's a bit of a final man. He won two finals for Real Madrid in 2014, and I think if I go back even further back in the 2011 Copa del Rey final, I think Ronaldo's goal was assisted by Di Maria. So he's a bit of a final man. Argentina missed him in finals before, in the World Cup final, and I think he played the 2015 Copa America final as well, but he was injured halfway through or something like that. So it was a nice feeling seeing them win. What were your thoughts on the Copa America finishing, Charlie, if you have any?
Yeah, I was very, very impressed with Argentina's midfield, especially De Paul and Paredes as well. And I will fully admit, I'm not the biggest Paredes fan. I think he's a bit of a hack at times, but he played lights out last night. I will give him credit. He was all over the pitch, massive defensively. I can't fault him whatsoever. And De Paul, in my opinion, was the best player on the pitch. If Atletico Madrid if the signing will go through, they're getting an absolutely incredible player, and especially a steal at the price of 35 million euros. That's absolutely insane. I hadn't watched much of him because I don't watch much of the Serie A, but after that, that was a very convincing performance for me. I absolutely understand the price tag. I completely understand. I think he'll fit perfectly into Simeone's squad.
Yes, and I think from an Argentina perspective, this team needed a midfielder like this, since ever. I don't remember someone of his profile playing for the national team in the recent past. And midfield has always been Argentina's issue, even the defense as well. I think there's still much room for improvement, especially in the fullback areas, because Argentina's fullbacks basically they don't add anything, especially the right back. And that even goes on to show how important De Paul is, because he kind of plays in that Modric role, covers the right back a little bit as well, covers the right hand side of the midfield. So yeah, he was phenomenal throughout this tournament. Getting back to the Euros, Charlie, today's game, we were just talking about how this was pleasantly surprising before we hit record. I was also surprised that England took the lead so early into the game. And then Italy never looked out of the game for a second. They were confident that they're going to get that equalizer. And I think once Italy got the equalizer, they dominated the game from there on. England had brief moments, but not really dominating stretches of possession. What did you make of the game?
Yeah, I really liked how Italy, despite going down early, they didn't show any sign. They didn't panic whatsoever. They
Mhm.
sat in, they played their game. They gave up possession at times, held possession at times. They didn't panic in the final third. They didn't panic in their defensive third whatsoever. I
Mhm.
mean, what Harry Kane didn't get a single touch in Italy's penalty area through
Mhm.
120 minutes. That's just absolutely massive. And I will say,
Yeah.
I thought Harry Kane played well aside from getting into goal scoring positions. I mean, he was magnificent on the opening goal between
Yeah.
dropping
Yeah.
off, get the ball from Shaw, and then making the run into the penalty area to draw the defenders off of Shaw. Absolutely perfect. That's what you're looking for in a striker. But I mean, other than that, I mean, his drop off play was great. I'll give him that because I mean, in the Southgate's 3-4-3, or if you want to call it a 3-4-3, that set it up perfectly for Kane to drop off and receive the ball from the midfielders and things like that.
Mhm.
That it was, I think, the biggest key in Southgate's system today. The one thing that I think went really well for him. But I mean, other than that, England didn't look too dangerous, given that Chiellini and Bonucci are so dominant in their own penalty
Mhm.
area. And I mean,
Mhm.
crossing doesn't work, balls on the ground in the penalty area don't work. Their positioning to open their bodies up in the defensive area are just, it's just so good. They're so experienced and their chemistry is great together. It's so tough to get anything behind them. So
Yeah.
I think that was Italy's biggest key to winning the match today. And I, if you told me back in 2018 that Italy would have won this after they missed out on the World Cup, I would have never would have thought. But well done to them. They completely earned it. They played lights out pretty much the whole tournament. Can't fault them whatsoever.
Yep. And about Bonucci and Chiellini, I think even the commentator, when they were just lining up for the medals and stuff, they were saying that these two guys are going to go to vacation together. Like they practically live their life together. They play in the same club. Their families are friends of each other as well. So that chemistry really shows in the pitch. And also like something outrageous I saw, like Bonucci was, I don't know if you noticed, like when a ball from the top would come, he would just glide it with his head back to the goalkeeper. To do this under pressure in a European final, I mean, like you have to have nerves of steel. So that was unbelievable. And if I remember, I think there was this game where Bonucci scored a penalty in normal time, and then he missed for his team. I don't know if it was with Italy, with Milan, or Juventus. I honestly don't remember, but I remember that Bonucci once scored a penalty in normal time to equalize or something like that, and then he missed in the shootout. So today, when he went in to take the shot, I was thinking that, okay, is this deja vu? Is this happening again? But yeah, he took a pretty calm and composed shot as well. Yeah, and Donnarumma was enormous, unbelievable. Like 3 saves in this kind of a final, absolutely magnificent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I feel bad for England with their penalty setup. I feel like that. I don't know who plans it, whether it's Kane or Southgate, who sets up the order and all of that. But I feel like their whole mentality going into penalties was just wrong. With first of all putting Sancho and Rashford on with 2 minutes left, not letting them get too many touches. Putting Rashford at right back was also just a weird joke. Like I understand the context when you're trying to get certain players off the field, but I mean, if you want him to be at least have any speck of confidence going into penalties, you want to get him at least 1 or 2 touches in the final third so he can do his normal thing, get on the ball and dribble at people. But just doing a bit of defensive work, that's not it for him. And having Saka take the final penalty, or what we would have thought be the final penalty, the 5th penalty, that's just poor decision making. I mean, you gotta blame Sterling, Shaw, all the senior guys on the team who didn't step up in that situation and let this 19-year-old kid who's never played in a final before take that penalty.
And even taking off Henderson after subbing him in, I think that was a really strange decision. In these moments, you would, I think, rather depend on someone experienced like Henderson rather than the young guys. And also, I think penalties, you either have your best guy take the first shot or the last. Like Italy, gives it to Jorginho. Like Portugal used to give it to Ronaldo. Real Madrid used to give it to Ronaldo, and like Messi always takes Argentina's first shot. So you give your best guy the first shot or the last one to do things like that. But I think like England were all over the place in that planning, and it's kind of ironic for Gareth Southgate to mess up another penalty situation for his country. But yeah, I think the 2 best teams played the final and the best team won. I simply put it like that in this tournament. I've been like supporting many teams when Ronaldo was around, Portugal, then France for Benzema, then I think once Portugal and France were out, Italy was kind of my team, and they beat Spain as well. So, but all around, this Euros was great. It's been hectic, but I think quality summer of international football that just passed by. Not so much quality, I can say, in the Copa America, but the quality of football at our disposal in Euros was phenomenal, I think.
Yeah, and at the competitive level too, the sheer amounts of extra time we saw and shootouts, just showing whether or not it was mentality based and teams playing for shootouts and between fatigue and things like that. It was very competitive in pretty much every game, aside from England versus Ukraine and Spain versus Slovakia. Pretty much every game was very competitive and enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
So it was a great tournament. I'm very happy with how it turned out. I did want to see England lose. Sorry, all of the England fans. I mean, the fans are. They're just asking for people to cheer against them. I mean, the arrogance is it's always there, and I mean, they're kind of an antagonist, and I mean, you need that in any kind of sport. So I mean, it was they played a good villain, I would say, and to see them lose, I mean, it's agonizing to lose in penalties for anyone, but I mean, with how England have been drawing penalties and things like that, and Sterling diving, I don't know. I mean, he's a fantastic player, obviously, but he does go down easily sometimes, and I mean, they've had an agenda a bit around it. So for them to lose on penalties seems a bit of karma, but they played very well, and they definitely earned to go at least to a shootout with Italy, who I believe were the best team there.
And also, like, I think Sterling tried that once while he was between Bonucci and Chiellini, and those two guys were having none of it, absolutely none of it. Like, we've seen like 3,000 people like you diving. Sterling just get up. We're not having any of this. So let's come back to Real Madrid stuff and La Liga stuff, Charlie. So Madrid played a friendly game today against Fuenlabrada. They won 3-1. I don't know who played in defense that they conceded a goal in this game somehow. If this is our defense after Sergio Ramos, then we're in trouble, mate. And I think three guys scored. Gila scored from the Castilla defender. Mariano scored one goal, and Odegaard scored one. It was, I think, and the reports that I read that this is not even like about match practice or something like that. This was still part of Ancelotti's and Antonio Pintus's physical preparation slots. This was still a physical preparation exercise, this game. I obviously, I haven't caught any glimpse of this game. I think there is a video in realmadrid.com, but I can't play the video right now. There's some problem with that, but I'll probably check that out later, how they scored the goals or something. But again, I have good vibes about the physical preparation from what I see on Twitter and stuff. What about you?
I watched the video, and they're not showing the goals. I don't know if they'll release them at a further date, or if they just want to keep it all under wraps for the sake of secrecy, and maybe Fuenlabrada has something where they ask not to show highlights or anything like that. I don't know. But it's given the lineup I think that we could put out there today, I think that's good. And given we've also had only 7 days of preseason for training for Carlo to get out there and to try to work with this squad and try and implement some tactics, I think it's a fine result. And I doubt the players were taking it overly seriously and going out there with a mentality of, okay, we're going to run for 90 or so minutes and sprint our hearts out and try and put in every tackle. So I'm fine with the winning 3-1 against Fuenlabrada. I think that's relatively fine for given how early we are in the preseason and the players that showed up today. Yep.
All right. So still, if we talk about our squad and stuff, it seems very unlikely that we'll probably sign anyone other than David Alaba this transfer window. And as we were, thinking of speaking about some other teams as well, I think this lines pretty well with that. Atletico Madrid, reigning champions, they're still investing in this team. They have young players like Joao Felix. They're bringing in guys like Rodrigo de Paul. They already have a very very good defensive unit, and they have like unleashed this animal out of Marcos Llorente this season. So Atletico Madrid, on paper, definitely look, to me, if they add De Paul to this squad, they're probably looking for another striker as well. Suarez was knocked out of the Copa America pretty early. He would be fresh and fit when he returns. So I think Atletico Madrid is definitely getting an upgrade to their squad. Barcelona is most definitely getting an upgrade to their squad. Like if you add Memphis Depay and Kun Agüero for free, regardless of their age, positioning, and everything, you are basically improving your team. They also have Emerson Royal coming back to the team. I think for me he was the best right back of La Liga last season. I've been so impressed by this player. So where do we stand in this early days of the transfer window, you think, compared to our biggest two rivals?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously the biggest question is Lionel Messi at this moment with his contract and things like that. And also, on a side note, this whole rumor going around about other La Liga teams wanting to pay a portion of his contract to keep him in the league. Well, I understand where they're coming from. That can't happen. I mean,
it just can't.
Yeah, I mean, that'd probably be a worse look for the league. I mean, if you get all these guys chipping into his contract, that'd just be atrocious.
Yeah.
But yes, Atletico Madrid, I feel like they have the best squad in the league. Rodrigo de Paul, if they add him, that'd be absolutely incredible. I mean,
like, can you imagine a midfield of Koke, Marcos Llorente, and Rodrigo de Paul? Yeah. Unbelievable,
if they decide not to sell Saul, which I think they'll probably have to pay for de Paul, but if they do, him as a versatile coming off the bench player, I mean, that's crazy good. Yeah. I mean, that's probably the best midfield unit in the league and maybe even the world. I don't know. I mean, Bayern Munich might be up there. But Barcelona, I don't know how their squad's going to line up. I mean, I feel like Griezmann is set to leave. If they're going to pay Messi's contract, I feel like you have to get his €800,000 a week or pound a week contract off the books. But I still don't see how you fit in Depay and Agüero and Fati when he's healthy once again.
And Dembele.
Yep. Yeah. I don't understand how you can fit all those guys in, get them adequate game time, and get them the minutes that they want, as they're all high caliber players who want to be playing for a top level club. I don't see how you fit them all into a squad, especially with De Jong's going to start, Pedri's going to start, and Busquets is going to start. So that only leaves 3 of those players able to start, and that's assuming they play a 4-3-3, not Koeman's 5-3-2 or 3-5-2. So I don't know how they're going to manage that. He's got a crazy job ahead of him. I can't wait to see what he does with it, because Messi's obviously starting. So who's going to partner with Messi in the 5-3-2? That's my biggest question. I'm leaning towards Ansu Fati, but it's just a toss-up at this point. What do you think?
I think Depay would be a starter like straight away, just because like Koeman has worked with him before. And Barcelona, they have tried so many guys on that left half channel. Like sometimes Griezmann tried to play there, sometimes Fati. Dembele he can like play on both wings. But I think if Messi is just slotting behind the 2 strikers, if you play Depay on the left-hand side of the forward line on that left half channel, I think that's a good fit. And again, I think with Messi, Agüero, and Depay, if Koeman is that bold to play this front 3, it is obviously on paper it is a devastating front 3, but I think they're too slow for what kind of pace La Liga has right now. But I think still there is a lot of quality in that front 3. My guess would be, even if they get rid of Griezmann, Fati and Dembele can still be bench players for Barcelona. Like I was a bit actually surprised last season, because when Fati broke into the scene, they were starting Fati and Pedri. So for a club of Barcelona started to depend on 2 guys who were 17 and 18, it kind of it didn't necessarily look youth development to me. I think they were just too desperate to try out too many things at times. I don't think with players of Depay's quality and Agüero's quality, Koeman would be that risky again. Perhaps Depay, he would have a soft corner for Depay because he's from Netherlands. He's worked with him before. He knows him well. And yeah, if they're bringing on Dembele and Fati as two utility players in the second half, probably when Depay is tired and Aguero is tired, that I think still is pretty formidable. But yeah, I think Barcelona's defense definitely needs much more work. Mingueza did good work last season. They have a good player in Emerson Royal this season, but I still believe Longley was all over the place last season. Even Ter Stegen was all over the place last season. But still, like Charlie, I just keep feeling like that. As far as the core quality of the squad is concerned, Real Madrid hasn't focused on specific zones of the field where they need to invest, just for that illusion of that, okay, somebody will sign Kylian Mbappe. To me, it looks too good to be true, honestly. I don't think PSG is kind of a club that will just budge. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't see it happening this summer. I am 95% sure that he'll be in a Real Madrid shirt within the next 2 years. This summer, I don't see it happening, given our COVID-19 finances and just the structure of the market right now. I don't see it happening. And if we don't manage to sign him, I think we're really in trouble in finding a goal-scoring threat other than Karim Benzema. Because unless we're going to see Vinicius Jr. step up, who knows about Eden Hazard? I mean, he's a wild card at this point. If he can manage to put 3 games together this season, we just have to wait and see. I mean, I'm sure Benzema's going to put together another at least 15-goal season. But, I mean, I believe, like, who's going to be our next top scorer? I don't know. I mean, Asensio is great in terms of creativity. And when I say great, I mean, I love Asensio. But, I mean, he's not that great.
Yeah, I understand what you say.
I don't see where we're going to get these goals from unless we're going to be striving for penalties again like we did at the end of the 2019 season. I mean, I don't see where this is coming from. I don't want to sign a striker just for a season or two before we get Mbappe. But if that's what it takes to at least be competitive for the title, I mean, if that's what it takes, that's what we have to do.
Yep. And like I don't know what's going to happen with Luka Jovic. I never felt like he got, found himself at home at Real Madrid. I think sometimes Zidane got his tactics wrong. Sometimes players did not pass him the ball enough. But there have also been instances where he have put those when he have been fed the ball. Previously at Frankfurt, he has put those to bed, instantly, but he just could not replicate that finishing form at Real Madrid. And, like about Luka Jovic, I'm never too much interested in the other good things he's doing around the pitch, because we need goals. To do all of the other good things that he does, we already have Benzema to do all of that. We just need another striker to bang in goals. And especially, I think this is even more relevant next season, because we are probably going to lose our defensive partnership that we had for the last 7-8 years. Ramos is already gone. I'm also like 95% sure that Varane's also going to leave, and probably for Manchester United. But if that happens, we have a completely fresh defensive backline with we have a completely fresh center half partnership. And I think center half partnerships need time to grow and gel into together. So we are no longer I don't think we will be able to be that team who can just score one goal and then defend with all they've got. So we need goal scorers, and I am really worried about that. I don't really expect Vinicius or Rodrigo to come really big as much as we need. And when I say big, I mean like Marcos Llorente big. He scored like 10 goals. And we don't even have those kind of midfielders. I mean, like we have Casemiro who scores headers sometimes, but we don't even get goals from other parts of our pitch as well. So yeah, I think next season could be a long one, considering how the other teams are building their team. But Charlie, before ending, I would like to know your view on, like, apart from Barcelona, Atleti, and Real Madrid, any other La Liga transfer that excites you in the beginning of the season?
Yeah, Getafe has really, I love their set of transfers so far. Carlos Alenia from Barcelona for 5 million euros. That's incredible business. I applaud them so
Absolutely.
much. That is fantastic. Vitolo as well. I don't believe the price for his transfer has come out yet, but it could be free. I'm not sure. And Stefan Mitrovic from Strasbourg in France as a center back. That's an amazing set of transfers so far for them. And I believe they grabbed someone else from Atletico Madrid's academy, I believe. It is Poveda.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a great set of transfers so far with their new manager coming in. I believe that they're going to do a whole revamp of their style, and bringing in Elena as a creative midfielder, I believe that's the first step in transforming Getafe's style, going from their bruiser high press that they played under Bordalas to something a bit more creative and something that the rest of the league can get behind and not hate them for. That's what which I am all for, because they have a lot of players that I really enjoy watching, but just their play style from the last couple of years has made me absolutely abhor them. But if they can put together the squad like they look like they are right now, Vitolo, Mitrovic, Alenia, Gene, they have a very good squad, and I feel like they could really push for a Conference League spot or maybe even Europa. Wait and see on that. That is a very, very premature guess, but we'll wait and see on that one.
Yep, and I think when Villarreal signed Kubo from us, they paid like 2.5 or 3 million just for loan fee, and he ended up playing almost never for them. And in this market, to get a player like Alenia for 5 million is an absolute bargain, I think.
It is.
Yep.
Especially when people are starting to value players' potential much more than their actual talent right now, because you see players like Rafa Varane going for 50 million, where other players such as Jadon Sancho are going for 75, and players like Declan Rice are going for up to 100. They're valuing potential much more than the actual players in their prime that are putting up great numbers every single game, rather than just, oh, this player could be great in the future. Like your Camavingas, who I'm sure absolutely incredible and will blossom into fantastic players. But there's got to be something said for players who will jump right in your squad and just be an asset already, opposed to someone who's needs a bit of work and tutelage from the manager.
Yep. And Varane's transfer fee just bamboozles me. I know that he has 1 year left in your contract, but people who don't watch La Liga or don't follow Real Madrid, they don't realize how good Rafael Varane is. This guy is probably the best defender in the world. Like, that's probably not an exaggeration if we are saying that. Like, and especially the last 2 seasons, he was, even after the Man City debacle, he was phenomenal last season and the season before that. I know he has that tax of 1 year left in his contract, but in a market where you, with all due respect to Ben White, he must be a amazing player in his own rights. But if Ben White is 50 million euros, worth 50 million euros, Rafael Varane's at least 150 million euros. So
yes, I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is the world we live in, and we have to make do. With that, I think we'll wrap this up here. Charlie, had great fun talking with you again. We'll do this again soon with something else regarding La Liga, Spanish football, and Real Madrid. Thanks for all the listeners who listen to us. Do follow us at Es Una Final Pod. Do follow me at M Hassan Football on Twitter, and follow Charlie at Analytics La Liga. We'll be right back with you again with another new episode. Until then, take care.
Thank you.